know you guys remember after the election, AOC posted that video where she said what happened was so massive that it was going to take some time to share what happens next. A lot of people really read into the wording hoping that there was some secret that was going to come out, but that was not the case. She was buying time, because leading a country and leading a rebellion are two very different things. But now it's been a few months, and I can tell you from my own observations, we are on the verge of something amazing. But it's going to take a few minutes to tell you, so you might want to press the 2x and lean in. A little bit of background. In 2006, I got my journalism degree, and it felt like journalism was about to go through a revolution. After September 2001, Hurricane Katrina, Bush's insane foreign policy, and the explosion of social media and digital video, the world was overflowing with problems, but thousands of new channels were opening up at the same time for people like me to help everybody understand them. But then the Great Recession hit at the worst possible time. In the old days, newspapers were mainly funded by two revenue streams. One was classified ads, remember that, and the other was more traditional ad spending. At the same time, hundreds of new clickbait sites were popping up, stealing all of the headlines and the ad revenue that came along with them. People still needed news, and the news was still being created, but the business model was left behind. Millions of people started saying things like, I get my news from social media. But what they didn't realize was that those headlines were being generated by journalists working for publishers that at that time were hemorrhaging cash. So when ad revenue dried up, all of those newspapers closed their doors, and all of the TV stations got bought up by bigger and bigger conglomerates. As the revenue dried up, so did their ability to afford talent, which leaves us where we are today with thousands of useless news websites and a bunch of TV stations that have swapped out their talking heads for talking faces. Hilariously, the information age actually resulted in an information wasteland where the average voter can no longer decipher truth between an Onion article and a peer-reviewed CDC study. But in November, everything changed. November created necessity. And necessity breeds invention. And with the epidemic of misinformation at an all-time high, clear and accurate information has never been more necessary. For those of us who crave it, we stood and we watched Hillary Clinton lose because, hey, at least she got the popular vote right. This is still a fringe minority. And in 2020, we looked at scientists and we looked at our therapists, and then Biden won and we thought, finally, he's behind us. But 2024 hit us like a bucket of ice over the head. Losing the electoral vote, the popular vote, the House and the Senate, that was the huge thing AOC was talking about. But from that prolonged state of desperation, an entirely new movement is building. And that movement is leaving all of its ducks behind. Civility, the kindness movement, false equivalency, and the both sides bullshit in reporting, it's all dead. Because we were gaslit into believing we were part of an American society that wanted to find common ground. Then they elected that guy. A majority of them. Guy who hates religion, he hates disabled people, he hates trans people, he hates members of the military, the police, and veterans all at once. He hates brown people, he hates women, he hates everything except for power. And he wore it all on his sleeve, and they said, yeah, that guy. He's gonna get us more eggs. White eggs only, please. Now, I love my progressive community, but this is what it took. Like good, kind, reasonable, empathetic, academically minded, scientifically minded people, it took that guy winning again with a majority vote for us to say maybe outrage is the civil response here. I love the scientific method, but it is slow. But we finally got here, and I know from what I'm seeing that this is real. TikTok, for all of its challenges, showed us that there was a business model that would support content creators on the left. All of these displaced academics, these recovering journalists, these scientists with a side hustle, they were finally given a monetized platform with a microphone and an amplifier that helped them do what they've always wanted to do, which is inform people with absolutely unvarnished authenticity, and now with a rage and ferocity I've never seen before. This thing that is coming, I can't put a name on it, but it is a new era for advocacy and for journalism. And just like you see an evolution, it is seemingly popping up everywhere all at once. The insider political strategists, the big journalists, influencers, scientists, nonprofit and consumer advocates, everyone has come to the same conclusion because the need for clear news is still in demand. And there are thousands of people looking to fill that need with accurate information. But it is now clear that the legacy media outlets and the legacy business model cannot connect the product to the market. But all the components are still there. There is a need, there is a solution, there are platforms, and there is funding. And there is an army of brilliant content creators boiling with energy to make this happen. You already know these people, and they cover every corner. The breaking news people, the foreign policy people, the economists, the wounded veterans, the recovering politicians and recovering journalists, comedians, scientists, and thousands of analysts and editorialists. These people have felt a spark, and they are leaving their major institutions to be part of something new. I believe that taste of unfiltered oxygen is going to turn that spark into a wildfire. I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you what it's called, but I can tell you I will be part of it. And in the next 6 to 12 months, it is happening. And the other side is going to hate it.